Hello there. Thank you for joining me today. I wanted to share with you a new tool that has been added by the math department to the math department team drive. When you're on Google Drive and you join Team Drive, you can find this new tool under the math lesson plan folder. Look for the happy face, find the math lesson plan folder. This tool is in every star graded or star EOC course, and it's going to be a tool to help support you tracking your students' progress through the year to make sure that they are reaching star level of depth of knowledge on the content that you're already teaching. For example, let's take a look at fourth grade. If we go into fourth grade in the second 6 weeks and look at the current unit, Unit 5, we'll see that a new tool has been added. Instead of just seeing the lesson plans for day 1, 2, 3, 4, we see a new document right after the lesson plan. The lesson plan for day 1 is followed by lesson plan day 1 FA. Lesson plan for day 2 is followed by lesson plan day 2 FA. We notice that day 3 doesn't have an FA. Not every day will have a new tool of the FA tool or formative assessment. Let's take a look at one that does. Day 1 has a formative assessment tool, which at first glance looks a lot like the lesson plan. It's still going to be color-coded in 3, 4, and 5 for English and Spanish. It's still going to tell you where in the TXRS unit it falls and have the primary and secondary standards. It'll even have the same content objective and language objectives and academic vocabulary from the regular lesson plan. But what's new is the formative assessment tool. This formative assessment question comes from a prior year star and is broken down with an attached analysis that tells you not only what the correct answer was, in this case C, but what common misconceptions would lead students to pick one of the distractor questions. So if I'm going to use this question, now I have the ability to analyze why my students picked the right answer or the wrong answers, and what in a deeper understanding of what their troubles may be. This question can be used in your lesson as an exit ticket or at various times as a check for understanding. This is not necessarily the only STAR question that will be appropriate for your class, but it should not be used as a whole group discussion. These are designed to be able to use for you to take as a formal or informal formative assessment of where your students are aligned with this particular objective. Now, some days might not have an objective question go with it. Doesn't mean we don't do formative assessing in other ways in class, but like day 3 here, might not have a lesson that aligns to a STAR question, or it might be focused on a supporting standard that doesn't have STAR questions yet. It doesn't mean that it's not appropriate to use questions of high rigor or different formative assessments. It just means that there's not part of the new tool aligned for that day. The other tool that we've added to help support you is at the top of the folder is what's called a formative unit summary. So this is the Unit 5 formative unit summary, and what it will show us is all of the days in the lesson plan that have the new FA documents in case of this one, day 1, day 2, day 4, day 5. We can quickly see what days will have a formative unit. Also, it gives us them all in one simple place for us to pull up or pull questions from to project, and it doesn't have the answers on them. This is a great tool if you're an instructional coach or an administrator and you want to see what type of level of questions students should be able to do as relates to STAR on a certain day of the unit. But it also gives the teacher a way of looking ahead at the entire unit and what type of questions of the STAR level the students will be doing in that TEKS unit and what day it would be more appropriate. Not all the questions will be multiple choice. Some questions we'll see are griddable questions or open-ended, which will typically be scored with a griddable, and that gives you a reminder through the year that we need to help students practice using griddable questions. So, where will I find these new tools? In your regular math lesson plan folder on the team drive under the appropriate grade level that you teach, from 3rd grade through Algebra 1. We will be making sure that all these documents are ready. They're already now for the current units and the units upcoming. And some of the grade levels have them ready for the entire year. So please enjoy and let us know how they're working for you in your class. Thank you very much.